I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals for Wednesday, November 12th at 7:30 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Safaya?
Present.
Mr. Jersey's absent. Mr. Nestorovich?
Present.
Mr. Perry?
Present.
Mr. Sesser?
Present.
Mr. Clift?
Present.
Mr. Green?
Present.
Mr. Lindsay?
Present.
And Watts here.
I'd like to
Oh,
make a
you need a
motion to
motion?
excuse Mr. Jersey from tonight's meeting.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Clift, support by Mr. Lindsay to excuse Paul Jersey from today's meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
It's passed. Next is adoption of the agenda for today. Do you want to mention it too there?
Approval of the minutes for...
Well, first we have to do the adoption of the agenda.
Oh, adoption of the agenda.
Mention
And
two that are-
we have two items to be postponed. Item number 10 is postponed to December 10th, and item number 15 is postponed to February 11th of 2026.
Motion to approve the amended agenda. Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Green, support by Mr. Assessor to approve the agenda as modified. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Next comes the approval of the minutes of August 27th first.
Okay, approval of the minutes for August 27th. Need a motion?
Make a motion to approve those minutes from August 27th. I did get a chance to review them. They appear to be in order from my perspective.
Support.
So we have a motion by Mr. Cliff, support by Mr. Perry to approve the minutes of August 27th. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, those minutes are approved. That takes us to the September 10th minutes. Do you have a motion to approve those, or?
A
Motion to approve.
A support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Green, support by Mr. Watts to approve the September 10th meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Mr. Chair, I abstain.
Okay, so it's, they passed with one abstention by Mr. Safai. The September 24th minutes, I did not see come out yet, so we'll have to move those to our next meeting.
Make a motion to table the approval of the September 24th minutes to a meeting in the future once they
Support.
post.
Okay, that was a motion by Mr. Clift, and I'm sorry, the support was by Mr. Green to postpone the approval of the September 24th to a future meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Takes us to minutes of October 8th, which we just received the other day. Do you have a motion to approve them, or?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I'd like
Mr.
to make a motion to approve October 8th, 2025 minutes.
Okay, is there support?
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Assessor, support by Mr. Green to approve the minutes of October 8th. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, I also
You abstain?
abstain.
Okay.
I'll have to abstain as well. I haven't read them.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The minutes passed and were approved. Takes us to item number 6, Mr. Watts.
Okay, the next item is public hearing. Applicant is iDrive Auto Parts. Representative is Karen Birdie, 21311 Groesbeck. Variance is requested. Retain 1,149.64 square feet of 8-foot-high corrugated sheet metal fencing, total of 2,840.64 of 8-foot fencing. Retain existing non-conforming auto wrecking yard and expand the outdoor storage area by 59,485.92 square feet, identified as one parcel on the site plan. 3, retain the parking within the Groesbeck front setback. 4, waive 5 required parking spaces. 5, allow an 11-foot maneuvering lane to the 2 southernmost parking spaces. 6, allow 1 8-foot parking space in the south end of the parking lot. And item 7, construct a building addition to within 29.07 feet of the east property line along Groesbeck and to within 7.28 feet of the north property line along Prospect.
Good evening, Board. Karen Birdie on behalf of iDrive Auto Parts. My client, Calvin
And excuse me,
Herman-
Ms. Bird, your address too.
Oh, yes. It's 28225 Mound Road, Warren, Michigan, 48092. My client, Calvin Hermes, is here with me tonight. I want to begin by stating that the fact that this is called a wrecking yard in the minutes is not accurate. We are not a wrecking yard. We're not a towing yard. We don't tow vehicles and hold them for the police. We are a true recycling yard. When vehicles come into our facility, all the liquids are drained out of them. The parts are then taken off of the vehicles. They're cataloged, they're inventoried, and they're put on the internet. When we get the car down, broken down to what's left, I call it the carcass, but it's stripped down, we then recycle the metal. And then this is how the vehicle, the parts are used, and the vehicle is then properly recycled. My client takes his business very serious, and he is a certified automotive recycler. He belongs to many of the prominent associations, the Auto Recycler Association, the United Recycler Group, as well as the Premium Recycling Parts Association. These associations set standards and processes that have to be followed if you want to be part of this group. And these are the standards and processes that keep our environment safe. They have to follow the rules in how they handle the fluids from the vehicles, how they handle the parts from the vehicles, etc., if they want to stay in those associations. Those associations inspect his property 2 times a year. They do an audit and inspect. In addition to that, the state, LARA, inspects his facility also, in addition to the DEQ and EGLE. So we are a true recycler. We are not a wrecking yard. We don't hold vehicles for people and give vehicles back. We don't deal with the police and picking up crashed vehicles on the road. I also want to point out that when my client purchased this property quite some time ago, it was a junkyard. It was called Sheridan Auto Parts, and it was a junkyard. He did almost 400 loads of junk out of this property to clean it up. It is now cleaned up. At that time, there was an 8-foot fence. Part of it was 8 foot, part of it was 6 foot, and it was damaged. And he, in fact, replaced the fence, put all new fencing around the lot. So this is my client's building. This is Groesbeck. Over here is 8 Mile. This is his property, and this was his yard, this right here. All of this is already approved as a recycling yard. All of this fencing is already approved for 8-foot corrugated metal. So then why am I here? My client purchased this piece of property. When he purchased this piece of property, we now have to ask to allow the fencing to go around that piece of property, and we have to ask to continue the use of a recycling yard for this piece of property here. My client currently employs 38 employees, 14 of which are Warren residents. These employees do all different things, from disassembling the cars, cataloging the auto parts, putting them on the internet, and delivering parts. 70% of his business is done on the internet. People pick what they want off the internet, make an order, and it gets shipped to them. Pretty much the rest of it is people picking what they want off the internet, and we deliver it locally to the different cities around. When you talk about a walk-in in his business, extremely rare. very rare, because they know all the parts are cataloged on the computer, and in their own comfort, they can find the parts themselves. They don't need to come in. So we have very little traffic, if you will. With regard to the parking, so this is the building here that we have, and over here, we have, if you will, an outdoor building. It's a three-sided building. It's got a back, the sides, a roof, but no front on it. The parking right here, you can see when we asked to retain the parking in the Groesbeck front setback, to waive the 5 spaces, but we talk about an 11-foot maneuvering lane. That's the smallest. Because this property's on an angle, the smallest right here is 11 feet. Up here, it's 21 feet. So we go from 11 to 21 because of the uniqueness of this property with Groesbeck cutting through the property, if you will. So the only place that it's that small is right here for this one spot. In addition to that, when you talk about a parking lane, it usually means the lane between 2 rows of parking, where vehicles are going in and out of their own parking on opposite sides. We don't have that here. This is, if you will, a horseshoe, an open space. You come in off Groesbeck and you pick a spot. There's not having to have a traveling lane between parking spots on both sides. This was approved by the planning department as being sufficient for parking. Then lastly, this is the building that I said has 3 sides. We're seeking to actually turn it into a building with 4 sides and a roof. And this would be the footprint of that building. Now, when we ask for a front yard setback of 29.07 feet, please understand that's the closest to it. It will be, in fact, more than 51.49 feet at this part of the building. So, again, what's presented here for needing the variance is the closest point, and we have much larger area. This corner here is shown as not being part of our property. My client just bought that about a month ago. So we'll be able to continue the greenery in front of the building that is on our property over here. We'll be able to continue that over there. So in other words, at this point, like I said, everything was approved for this, but now we're expanding the building, reconfiguring the parking, and he bought more area over here, and we're asking to extend so we have coverage for the piece of property bought here, the ability to expand the building, and the ability to retain the parking as we've presented on the plan. I was very specific when I submitted my application. I added, if you will, a writing that went through the hardships. I also filled out the hardships that come with the application. So you have a long agenda here tonight. I really don't want to bore you with each item. I have addressed them in writing twice, and if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that presentation, Ms. Birdie. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing any, or close the public portion. And Mr. Watts, I believe we have an impact statement to read in.
We have the following impact statement from our planning department. After review of the request and further review of the petitioner's site plan, the following issues were found to impact the abutting local and general public. Number one, the site plan indicates the access aisle for the 9-foot wide accessible parking space to be 5 foot in width. Because the parking space also doubles as the van accessible parking space, ADA standards require an 8-foot wide access aisle for the van accessible space of this width. 5 feet minimum width of 11, 5 feet wide access aisles are allowed for van accessible parking spaces with a minimum width of 11 feet. If the petitioner intends to leave the accessible parking space at 9 foot in width, the correct 8-foot width of the accessible aisle shall be indicated on the revised site plan. Number two, for the variance to allow an 11-foot maneuvering lane to the two southernmost parking spaces, the width of the maneuvering lane is incorrectly measured on the site plan from the far edge of the accessible aisle. The actual width of the maneuvering lane, when measured correctly from the leading edge of the required 8-foot wide access aisle to the 6 foot in width, even when measured from the leading edge of the proposed 5-foot wide access aisle, the maneuvering lane would only be 8 foot in width. Number three, after further review of the proposed parking, the planning staff has determined it is not possible for passenger vehicles to maneuver from the two southernmost proposed parking spaces. These two spaces should be removed from the site plan. Regarding the location of the accessible parking space, the planning staff has determined that there is not sufficient room to maneuver and from this space without encroaching onto the public sidewalk. This parking space should be removed and the accessible parking space should be removed one spot adjacent to the north. The petitioner should either revise their variance request to add these 3 parking spaces to the amount of spaces to be waived, or the planning staff recommends that the petitioner should be referred back to planning for a meeting to discuss revising the layout of the passenger vehicle parking. And item number 4, on October 7th, 2025, an on-site inspection was conducted of the parking area. The planning staff observed stacked parking of 3 passenger vehicles in the location of the site where the 2 southernmost parking spaces are proposed. This area is not approved for passenger vehicle parking or open storage of vehicles. These vehicles shall be removed from the area. This matter should be referred to the zoning division for code enforcement.
Thank you, Mr. Watts. With the public hearing closed, I'll turn it over to the board for questions and discussion. If I could just start with a question. So, Ms. Birdie, I mean, hearing the planning department's recommendations, have you or your client reviewed those comments before, or
No, this is the first we're hearing of them. Please understand, I went through planning, and the site plan that you're seeing was approved. And I think that's why the comments start out after looking at this again or something. It was something along those lines, after a second review or something. Because this plan that I'm presenting to you was approved by the Planning Commission. So I'm surprised. I don't know why, when I get to zoning, it's now a different story. But if I'm understanding correctly, they want these 2 spots here gone. They want the 2 spots that are the most southerly gone. And they want us to make the handicap spot a little bigger, the striped area, if I'm understanding right. 3 feet more on the striped spot and take away these 2 spots here. So I kind of feel like the rug's being pulled out under me because I didn't know anything about this. I guess I can ask my client, we could give up these 2 spots here and correct the size of our handicap spot. We can do that.
Mr.
I'm
Chair,
just, yes, Mr. Green?
so in the impact statement, there was more than just the parking spots. There was reference.
Is your microphone on? Or?
Yeah,
Okay,
there
go
was
ahead.
reference to the stacking of the vehicles and the overall appearance of the property.
It's my understanding what they were saying is, right here, when they went by, there were cars parked double right here. That's not allowed,
So,
no matter what. So,
I think they're referring to the back corner piece of property that had cars stacked 3 and 4 high.
no,
Well,
he's
that's-
saying right here. He's saying they were parked, stacked, right here.
I know, but I don't think, the way I read it is, I know, but that's the way I read it is that,
Isn't that what he's talking about?
well,
I'm not sure, I didn't talk to.
so, can I ask a few questions then while we're?
Yes, go ahead,
if
Mr. Green.
She wants to continue. So, it says in the request that it's zoned M2, and then in your backup, it says M2 and M4.
It is zoned M2 and M4.
So are all?
This piece up here is M4. This is all M2.
So Steve, what's the specific difference between an M4, just real quick?
The variance is put under the main address. It has multiple parcels that have not been combined, so the M4 was not where the variance was written from.
Okay.
We usually do catch that and put it on the form, added
So
on.
it's just it's nothing.
It's,
okay.
yeah.
So
that doesn't
on this
matter.
building expansion, I did look at the site. What's the purpose, what's the building gonna be for?
So right now, the building is used for pulling vehicles in and stripping the parts off. And right now, it has a roof, a back, and 2 sides. Well, he'd like to enclose the building, enlarge it a little bit and enclose it so that the workers aren't in the elements during the winter.
So the same thing same process goes on in the
Same
building?
process.
Okay. And then I did look at the property. It's dicey. There's, in that back piece of property, there are cars stacked above the fences. And it doesn't relate specifically to the ordinance, but that concerns me. How long, and this might be a question for the petitioner, how long, so I'm just curious, so if you get a car in there, like let's say it comes up and someone drops it off, well, how long before that car, that one vehicle, let's say, disappears off the property? And how long is the process?
I want to say one thing to you. We don't take cars that come in and get dropped off.
Okay,
100% of the cars in these lots, in this lot that my client has, are bought at auction.
okay.
And then they're delivered.
Well, so when they're delivered,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
just trying to get, I'm
Alright.
just trying to see why there's so many, I guess I'll be more specific. The cars are in the back, there's a lot of cars that are being, in the process, I guess, of being stripped for parts and that process. So, for an understanding, for a layperson, how long would it take one car to go through the process? Or is that not a real fair question?
Come on up.
You understand what I'm saying? Ms.
Yes,
Birdie?
I understand.
Okay.
I just didn't want you to think that people drop cars off.
Yeah. And when the petitioner comes up, if he could give his name and address also
Name
for
and
the record.
address.
Calvin Hermes, 21311 Groesbeck Highway, Warren. So that's a great question. We use very highly sophisticated systems that tell us what we need to buy and why we need to buy it based on the amount of requests and previous sales history. And so the system actually determines how many of these vehicles we have in the yard, how many we need to keep, and how many we need to get rid of.
So when you go to
it's-
auction, you're specifically looking for,
So some vehicles may come in and we strip them out within a matter of 3 days. And some vehicles will come in and will sit there in the yard for 6 months.
fair enough.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Stefan?
after reviewing the petition tonight, I don't have a problem with any of the items presented. The only concern I have is just the 3 cars stacked out front, but that's easily corrected. The site plan was previously approved. There is a picture, Mr. Green, of the cars being stacked. I don't know if you noticed that.
This is all miscommunication. What I'm referring to is when I drove by the site, the height of the fence, and there's cars that are prepping or whatever they're doing back there, and they're stacked high enough where they're over the fence.
Oh.
I'm using the wrong word for the parking. I see where the confusion is, but I'm talking about the the literal stacking of cars, waiting for whatever the process is. Yeah, the petitioner wants to address that.
they stay stacked, they were talking about,
He knows now. He said it's a miscommunication.
yeah, staff vehicles that were
The
parked out
staffed
front
vehicles,
versus what
right.
he's referring to is the vehicles that are in the dirt.
Right, so
Got it.
what planning was talking about is, even though they're staffed vehicles, you can't park them that way, stacked.
Correct.
And so that has to stop.
Correct.
But the gentleman, Mr. Green, is talking about back in the yard.
Correct.
And he's talking about on the racks.
Yes.
Okay.
Those were my only comments.
Thank you, Mr. Safile.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Watts?
I got Mr. Watchpoint, don't run away. So, I have a couple questions. I too was by there, and I seen the cars stacked in the junkyard part. I'll call it junkyard part.
Oh, go to the recycling yard.
Recycling yard.
Thank you.
Listen, I always knew them as junkyards. And I might have bought a part or two out from Sheridan, so. Are those cars supposed to be stacked that high where you can see them over the fence by ordinance?
Basically, that would be a planning condition, and I don't know if they put a height condition on it. I know for their competitors or whatever down Groesbeck, I know they had to get a variance because of how high they were, which was over 20 feet high over there,
Okay.
so.
Then the other question I have, I seem to recall that council passed an ordinance on parking lot striping. And I'm looking at the striping, and for all I've listened to about the ADA stuff and learned over the past couple years, I'm wondering how these places are getting, because this one is obviously not striped correctly by the law. How are these places striping these parking lots and not doing it correctly? Are they not getting permits and just doing it?
For
Or-
the most part, a building permit is required at this time, and the striping requirements for the ADA are implemented at that time. Mostly for the handicap, a lot of it's not really looked at in total.
Right.
I do review it from time to time from zoning. Probably Everett or I is probably the ones that review that. And we do look at that to make sure it falls back in line with the site plan as well, most of the time. So it is reviewed at that time. If we catch anyone that stripes without a permit, our inspectors know to look for that now, recent striping. We will send out a notice and make them get a permit, and if it's not right, they'll have to correct it.
Okay, fair enough.
And that would be correct to the ADA standards, not to the site plan. We try to get it as close to the site plan as possible.
Right, okay, I understand that, yeah.
Most of the time, if it has to lose one parking spot, we don't make them come for a variance for that because of the ADA standard.
Okay, thank you. I don't know, I got mixed emotions about this. Like I say, I drove by there, and, you know, for someone that's been around a long time, it is it's a crazy layout down there. And I don't know what else it could be used for. But on the other half of the coin, I thought that still needed a lot of cleanup, and there's no doubt that he did a lot of cleaning already. But, all right, that's all I got. Thank you.
Mr. Green, you had a comment?
One more
or-
question.
Okay.
So, in 60,000 square feet of additional open storage that's being requested, how many cars can you get in 60, this might not be a fair question either, but how many cars can you get in there?
If you want to count all these spots.
Well, I mean, a ballpark.
Do you want me to count
1,000,
them?
10,000,
No.
100?
No.
How many cars can you fit in
I
this?
never counted it because it wasn't,
What's the guesstimate? This is more for, this goes to the stacking thing. Because there is an ordinance that says how high you can go. You don't have to,
six times 8.
killing me.
Well,
Come on.
I'm sorry, that wasn't something that.
I was just looking for a guess.
7, so 72, maybe 90 spaces,
So maybe 90, and.
maybe.
Maybe, and then you can, and then
Pardon me?
they get stacked in racks then. So it could be, so the fence is 8 foot high. You're looking at possibly 3 high. So, a little under 300 more cars. Okay. That answers my question. Thanks.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Watts.
So, I have a question, I don't know, maybe to Mr. Watcherpoint or maybe even to the city attorney. After reading the impact statement that we received this evening, and the concerns, is number one, was this in front of the planning commission and approved?
This was approved. The plan I've given you was approved by the planning commission. This is why I'm shocked that that's the impact statement.
Okay, so,
I just left planning, not even, I don't know, a couple months ago or so, and this was approved. That parking was all approved. So I'm not understanding, I can make the adjustments by getting rid of the 2 southerly parking. I can make the adjustment by making the bigger ADA. I think we need 3 more feet is what that letter's saying. We can do that, but I'm not coming to you with a plan that wasn't approved by the planning commission. This plan was approved by the planning commission and the planning department, or I wouldn't be here with it, saying that to you.
okay, so then my next question would be to either one, I guess, that give me the correct answer, is should we be referring this back to planning before we make a move on it?
The only issue is the parking. That's the only issue that came up in the impact statement. So if you'd like to leave the parking off and deal with the other items, and then I'll go back and redo the parking, I'll have a meeting with them. But to put my client back through an entire reprocess through the planning department is financially not fair, and quite frankly, I don't think equitable at all as far as time goes and effort. But I can go back and redo the parking and then come back with a variance request
So-
that fits what the planning department is referring to.
So maybe I could rephrase my question, should we just postpone it to the next meeting? So we get it corrected? That's the only thing I'm worried about. I understand where you're coming from. I don't disagree.
Well, if I could just, well, first, Steve, did you want to add something in first? or-
As far as the parking goes, I believe it has to be reposted because now they need to waive more. So that part will have to be reposted before it comes before you, so it's not just changing that parking. Back in June or July, I met with Ms. Birdie and went through the concerns that zoning had with that parking. So she was made aware of it back in June. That caused some of the revisions and some of the delay before it came before you. Planning was made aware of it at that time, but it had already been approved, I believe, at that time. That's probably why the impact statement shows it that way at this time.
So in other words, if people have changed their mind, I can deal with that. But I've got a whole nother part of this business that needs to keep moving. If we could take the parking elements off and deal with the other items, I will go back and deal with planning's concerns about parking. I'll meet with them, and then I'll refile as far as, because it does have to be renoticed, because I'm probably gonna have to waive more parking spots than already, because they're saying now take away the 2 southerly parking spots, right? And if I don't have room for the extra 3 feet, it might be another parking spot. So I could then, as to all the parking, refile and have it noticed and come back before you.
Mr.
So,
Chair,
yes, Mr. Cliff?
I'd like to make the suggestion that in your application, you also use the term you're using up here tonight, auto recycler, instead of the auto wrecking yards. I agree with you, those are 2 very different animals, but if that's what we're looking at and that's what you want to do here, I'd like to see that verbiage in your application.
My application doesn't say wrecking yard.
Variance is requested.
That's the part the city writes. The part that I write says
Retain existing non-conforming auto wrecking yard and expand outdoor storage area.
that's
Item
what the
number
city
2.
wrote.
Okay,
I did not write that.
maybe you can get them to
They
put
used
it
to
in the
call us a
phrases.
junkyard, and I
Right.
complained, and they stopped calling us a junkyard.
No, I absolutely feel you on that, but even a wrecking yard is worlds different from a true recycling yard. A
Right.
recycling operation is a cleaner operation. Inventory comes and goes quickly, it doesn't sit out there for 40 or 50 years. Again, our ordinances are a little archaic, so that's something that should maybe be looked at in the future too, about proper ordinance for an auto recycling operation within the city of Warren. Other municipalities have done it. I know that we haven't. But the other question I had was the hubbub in item 2 of the impact statement about this maneuvering lane. And it might take Steve to have to explain to me his interpretation of that. Of course, you're not going to need them if you're going to eliminate those 2 parking
I
spaces
believe that
anyway.
has to do with those parking spaces in the front there.
So if those goes away, then we don't have to worry about that part of it.
Right. So if I were to say, if we look here, I'd ask you to vote on 1, 2,
7, correct?
and 7. And then I will go back and start over with the parking.
So basically, as our board, first we need to have a motion to separate items 1, 2, and 7 from 3, 4, 5, and 6, correct?
I believe you're correct.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Safaya?
I make a motion to separate items 1, 2, and 7 from the request tonight.
I'll support that.
Okay, so we have a motion to separate 1, 2, and 7 away from the parking items, which are 3, 4, 5, and 6. Motion by Mr. Safaya, support by Mr. Lindsay. All in favor?
Should it, before we vote, should
Yes.
it be worded that we separate 3, 4, 5, and 6? Is that the correct wording, or does it matter?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Okay, so like items 1, 2, and 7 would be like A, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6 would be 6B. Correct.
Correct.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody opposed? Okay, so the 2 items have been separated.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Safaya?
I'd like to make a motion on item 1 of the request for items 1, 2, and 7.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve item 1, retain 1,149 feet, .64 feet, I'm sorry, 1,149.64 feet of 8-foot-high corrugated sheet metal fencing totaling 2,840.64 feet of 8-foot-high fencing, of which 1,655 was previously granted on variance of June 7th, 2017. 2, retain existing non-conforming auto wrecking yard and expand the outdoor storage area by 59,485.92 square feet, identified as parcel 1 on the site plan. And item 7, construct a building addition to within 29.07 feet of the east property line along Groesbeck to within 7.28 feet of the north property line along the Prospect, due to the fact that it's on a detriment to the area and the size and shape of the lot.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Safaya. I heard a few voices for support, but I thought it was Mr. Lindsay that I heard first.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and then, Mr. Ross, can we do a roll call on
Yep.
this one?
Mr. Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Nestorovich?
You called me last.
Okay. Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts, yes for the reasons stated in the motion, and Mr. Nestorvich?
Yes, for the reasons stated in motion. So, Ms. Birdie, 6A, items 1, 2, and 7 have been approved. So do we have a motion to postpone?
Yes, can we postpone it, and I'll turn in an amended, application that then I'll have to get noticed.
Yeah, we'll have to get noticed because the parking
Yes.
waivement will be probably at least 2 extra spaces, I would think.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to table request B for items 3, 4, 5, and 6, with the date to be determined.
Support.
So we have a motion by Mr. Sophia, support by Mr. Clift, to postpone items 3, 4, 5, 6 to a date to be determined. For this one, can we do all in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody opposed? Okay, so that has been
Thank you.
postponed. Okay. Takes us to item number 7.
Okay, item 7, applicant is Robert Bonke. Address is 3020 13 Mile Road. And the variance requested is construct a 30 by 50, 1,500 square foot garage.
Okay, if you could start with your name and address for the record, and then
My name is Robert Banky. My address is 3020 East 13 Mile Road.
And if you just want to explain your request today?
I'm basically asking to put a 1,500 square foot garage on this property. This property is unique. This property is an acre sitting on 13 Mile Road. There is no buildings on this property except for my house. It was 3 separate lots. I have turned them, or I'm attempting to turn them into one, so I don't have a problem with how the building lays out, because originally the garage was on a parcel that I didn't have a frontage or a house on. So now I'm turning the 3 parcels into one, which equivalates to an acre.
Okay.
I own 3 vehicles. My sister just moved in. That's the 4th vehicle. I have 2 motorcycles. I have a go-kart. I have a mini bike. And yes, my grandkids live in the area. That's why Papa's got all the fun things sitting in his house. I just need a place to put them under without keeping them outside. I spent a fortune cleaning up this property. This property originally, the city was called many, many times throughout the years because of blight, tall grass, weeds, trees, everything. I've actually cleaned out the entire property except for the 5 trees in front of the house and 1 tree in the back of the house in the yard. And that I was threatened to keep up by my daughter. She said, you can't take that tree down. So basically my yard is clean. There's nothing else on the property. And like I said, I'm just asking for a 1,500 square foot garage. And if you see what I've got in toys, you'll understand it. And it'll give me a little work area inside the garage. I can piddle around with some things, nothing major. I'm just trying to make my life simple.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing any, or close the public portion and turn it over to the board for any questions and discussion.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Green?
So the 3 lots you own the 3 lots and you're combining them?
I have submitted everything to the planning department. I had to do that before I applied for this variance.
So you own all 3 of them?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
All the taxes are up to date too.
One more question, because I see no problem with this. Does the word "color me gone" mean anything?
I can't hear you.
Does the word "color me gone" mean anything?
Color me gone.
Yeah.
I have no idea
There
what.
used to be a rail out, a dragster out in front of that house for years.
A what?
A dragster, a race car. That's
Oh, there was a garage next,
Oh,
that's my neighbor.
Oh, that's your neighbor.
My neighbor has that
'Cause
building with,
I remember that, yeah.
Yes, that is next door.
So that's on the, as you face it.
If you're
that's on the-
facing the property, it's to the right.
Okay, cool, very cool. All right, that was it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Lindsay.
I just have one quick question for you, Mr. Banky. So if you have these 3 parcels, where are you intending on building the garage? Because we don't really have a drawing or at least I didn't
I
see one.
have a drawing there. It's hard to put it, but I was gonna run it 13 miles east and west. I was originally gonna run the building east and west, but now I decided to go north and south instead of putting a building hanging into the middle of the yard. It'll like be more presentable.
Is it going next to your house, behind your house?
Oh, it's behind the house.
Okay.
It's
when-
it's actually on part of the second lot,
Okay.
which is behind the property. I think Steve can help me with this.
This is where you plan.
Yeah,
Is it on 30?
Steve, is it parcel 30? Oh.
Parcel ending in 030,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
be the middle one.
It's right in the middle, it's the, looks like pink.
Yeah. so-
I'm trying to make it uniform with my neighbor's building there that you know about.
Okay. That answered my question, thank you. Just for the board, I think the garage is bigger than I like to see, but I think he's got plenty of space, so I really don't have any issues with this.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Watts.
One question to Mr. Watchpoint. He cannot build that on there until those properties are combined, correct?
Sorry?
The lot combinations have to be approved before you can build, right?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah. It's in the process, and he can apply and go through everything at the same time. I don't see any reason it wouldn't be, because it's landlocked parcels and he owns them all. so.
I would agree. I mean, he's definitely got a lot of room there, so. Okay, that's all I
I don't know if
have.
this will help you, but when I took it to, was that planning? That was their suggestion for me to do, is put all 3 lots together. And they told me directly they're gonna do it in-house instead of doing it a different way that those lots are usually done, because it's straightforward.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have a motion or any other questions?
Yes,
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Clift?
nobody else has anything, I'll make a motion on this. Like to give the petitioner permission to construct a 30-foot by 50-foot, 1,500 square foot garage, not a detriment to the area, the size of the lot, more than warrants the ability to sustain a building of that size.
Support.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Clift, and I heard support by Mr. Lindsay to approve the petitioner's request for reasons stated.
Mr. Clift?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Watts is yes for the reasons stated in motion. Mr. Nestorovich?
Yes, for reason stated in the motion. Your request is approved.
Okay, this is new to me.
Do you have any
Does this
que-
have to be done in 5 months, or do I got a little bit of time?
Steve can help you with that, because
Oh,
I know
okay.
you can't build until the lots are combined, so it's like, that's an unknown date. So, but Steve can help you with any of that stuff.
Okay, thank you.
So item number 8.
Item number eight is applicant is Roman Kravitz. Property is 28630 Norwood. Variance requested is permission to construct a 12 by 24, 288 square foot shed in addition to a 828 square foot attached garage for a total of 1,116 square feet of accessory structure and floor area.
Good evening. Roman Kravitz, 28630 Norwood Avenue. I'd like to put a shed in the back of my backyard. My property sits on about half an acre. property. The backyard alone is about, it's 14,000 square feet. The shed is 288 square feet, which is 2.06% of the backyard territory. Asking for a shed this size. My family grown ever since we moved to this property. I have 2 kids now. At this point, I have at least 4 to 5 strollers, bikes. We like to do outdoor stuff. So 2 kayaks sitting around under the tree. Would like to clean it up and keep it tidy. Also a little good space to keep my outdoor pool in there as well.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing anybody in the audience wishing to speak, I'd close the public portion and turn it over to the board for any questions and discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Sofia?
I took a look at this petition. It looks pretty straightforward to me. It's a large lot, and I think the size of the shed is appropriate given the amount of property. This will be a yes vote for me.
Thank you. Any other, I also agree because it's a large, very deep lot, being 210 feet. And I guess you need storage space for all the lawn equipment and everything else that will go in with that kind of property.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Watts?
I drove by there on Monday, I believe it was, and took a look from the street. Obviously, couldn't see real good, but I'm kind of a stickler for the property being clean and stuff like that when people come for variances, what have you. I don't even know if it's your property. I couldn't see that well, but it looked like there was a bunch of brush down in the back and tree branches and stuff.
Oh yeah, I clean up. So when I purchased the property, about 20 feet of the back of it, it was neglected to the point where there are tree trunks size of my body. Half of those trees I dug out by hand. The other half I had to rent out the tractor, wood chipper, and I've been cleaning the property little by little.
Okay, so you're working on it.
Yes.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Lindsay?
if there's no other comments from the board, I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant the petitioner permission to construct a 12-foot by 20-foot, 12-foot by 24-foot, 288 square foot shed in addition to an 828 square foot attached garage for a total of 1,116 square feet of accessory structure floor area. Due to the size and shape of the lot, it's not a detriment of the area. It's necessary.
Support.
So I have a motion by Mr. Lindsay, supported by Mr. Assessor, to approve the request for the reasons stated. Roll call.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Sofia?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts, yes, for the reasons stated in motion. Mr. Nestorovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion. Your request is approved.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Takes us to item number 9.
Okay, item number 9 is the applicant is FS Signs Signature Brand Management. Representative is Frank or Fran Emanuel, address 22665 Ryan, and the variance is to install a 83.65 square foot wall sign on the east elevation of the building in addition to the previously permitted 40 square foot wall sign to the north elevation for a total of 123.65 square feet of wall signage.
So you can start with your name and address and then take us through your request.
Good evening. My name is Franz Emanuel. Address is 2076 East 10 Mile Road, Warren, Michigan 48091. So as you can see, we are applying for a variance for a 41 foot sign. That's the sign that's on the Ryan Road. And the reason we're requesting variance for that is because typically customers can see the sign that's on the other side, except the one on Ryan Road is the one that needs more visibility, because that's usually where there's more traffic. There are currently a pole sign as well, but typically some customers can't really see, the pole sign versus a channel letter sign. It's been in our experience with a bunch of clients that they only have one sign or they could have a pole sign, but a lot of customers get lost just because of that. It sounds funny, but it's the true fact of it. It's just the, you know, individual letters and everything. It really helps us to show where the building is and to let people know that that building is part of the business that owns it. Because otherwise, they're gonna think the pole sign is redirecting elsewhere, or the other side is just for that building. So that's the reasoning. And really, there's not much to it other than for what they have. It's about 40,000 square foot building, and then that part that we're applying for is about 100 feet wide. So it's, without it, it just would be an empty spot. And, you know, we're trying to utilize it just to help the business gain more traction, especially since they're just opening up now.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item in the audience? Not seeing any, I'll close the public portion and turn it over to the board for questions and discussion.
So, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Green.
So, Mr. Wattapant, how does this work when, so in 97, they got permission to put a 12 by 18 foot, or 216 square foot of signage on an accessory building? So does that like add on, is it a different building or the same building? Or does that?
This is a completely new build and everything,
That
so
other
that
stuff's gone?
accessory building is gone.
All right.
But for cleanup purposes, since it was a sign, I would suggest rescinding it if you grant this.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Safaya.
I'm taking a look here at the packet. Although the sign is twice the limit, twice the ordinance, given the size of the frontage along the road, there's over almost 150 feet of length on the building. I think the sign is appropriate. There's really about 30 square feet of the 80 is that decorative bar on the left side. So in my mind, I don't really count that as signage because there's no wording with it. Their sign that they currently have is modest, it's within the ordinance, but I did take a drive by the property and it is rather difficult to see the rather small sign on that huge building. Those are my only comments.
Mr. Safaya, I would agree with that, and because I drive down Ryan often since I live in that area, and I would be fine with this additional sign, because as long as we include in our motion to to rescind the request from 97, an accessory building that doesn't exist anymore.
If there aren't any other comments, I'll make a motion. That is the variance, we're rescinding the variance. What was the date on it?
June 11th, 97.
June 11th, 97. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to grant permission to install an 83.65 square foot.
I'm sorry, that's actually on an accessory building. That's not a sign. I'm sorry, that one doesn't have a sign.
For some reason, I'm missing that page with the variances previously requested, so I don't have it.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I misread that. Sorry, there is no, that was just for a different building. It had nothing to do with the sign.
Okay.
Please ignore my comments on that.
No problem. I'll strike that. I'll start over. I'd like to grant permission to install an 83.65 square foot wall sign on the east elevation of the building, in addition to the previously permitted 40 square foot wall sign on the north elevation, for a total of 123.65 square feet of wall signage due to the size and shape of the property, and it's not a detriment to the area.
Support.
So we have a motion by Mr. Safaya, support by Mr. Perry to approve the request for reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Sesser?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
No, it's over 2 sizes recommended by city ordinance.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Watts, yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Nestorovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion. Your request is approved.
Not gonna let me vote today?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion. You're leaving me out.
But your request is approved.
Thank you.
They so item number 11.
Okay, item number 11, and I'm gonna apologize before I pronounce the name. Applicant is Tom Skanika, 20,740 Bartholomew, and the variance requested is waive ingress and egress to the existing detached garage of a non-conforming residence on an M2 property.
That's correct. Good evening. Tom Skonieczka, 1671 Squirrel, Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, 48304. Here to request the waive of the ingress and egress, essentially connecting the driveway to a garage that's located behind the property. We purchased this property several months ago. We brought it up fully up to code. We passed all the trade inspections, plumbing, mechanical, electric, construction, as well as all zoning except for this minor issue with the driveway. And it is rooted in the fact that the partial driveway that is there presently is actually halfway on the adjoining lot, which we do not own. So it'd be rather difficult for us to build a driveway on property that we do not own.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Okay, not seeing any, I'll close the public portion and turn it over to the board for discussion and questions. So, when I okay, so the driveway that was there, that's part of the parcel next door? Is that the way I understand that?
Partially. So the gentleman that sold the house owns essentially that entire peninsula. So it was not a problem for him to pour that driveway when he owned that land in its entirety. But now that driveway is essentially 50% ours and 50% his.
Okay. So would that driveway be removed then or so? Or I'm just trying to think what would happen with that, I mean, with that,
I throw myself at the mercy of the court. I don't know what to do with this.
Okay, let's see, Mr. Watchford, did you have a?
Basically what Tom said was completely correct. It is the parking spot that he uses for that house at this time. There's nothing zoning wise that would force it to be removed. The thing is, if they come and do any construction there, it will have to be looked at that point in time through planning. So I would be fine with it staying without any action and going from there.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Watts.
So-
Mr. Watts.
I got two questions.
Yes.
One, wouldn't it be a better idea to get like a 99-year agreement with the other property owner to keep the driveway there and be able to use it?
Again, I don't know what their thought process is on that parcel. I know I've sat down in preliminary meetings and stuff like that, so I don't know to what extent it would be, but if it could be obtained, I would say yes. It's a very good thought process, but I don't know what their overall plans are.
Okay. Well, to the petitioner, any thoughts on that?
I'm open to whatever pragmatic solutions there are, but I can't speak on the other property's owner's behalf.
So you haven't, neither one of you have approached that situation then?
No, sir.
Okay.
And quite frankly, we're stuck in a limbo.
So, is this gonna be a rental?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I'm wondering what kind of situation this poses for the use of the garage. I mean,
There's ample street parking, and you can park a vehicle on the 1 or 2 cement squares that are there already without any problem.
okay. All right, well, I guess I don't know that I have a problem either way, but it seems like a solution, the better solution to the problem would be to get an agreement to maintain the driveway back to the garage, so just makes more sense to me. But I don't have a problem either way.
Yeah, I just always, my comment, I mean, I understand, and I understand when it's on different parcel. I just worry, it's like if somebody's gonna be parking a car there, and then what if the owner of the next parcel says, oh, no, you can't park there anymore? Because that's part of my property. That's how those kind of neighboring disagreements can happen.
Well,
Are there any motions, if there's no other questions?
Mr.
or-
Chair, I'll make a motion.
Okay, Mr. Watts?
I'll make a motion to waive the ingress and egress to the existing detached garage of a non-conforming residence on an M2 property.
Support.
So we have a motion by Mr. Watts, supported by Mr. Sophia, to approve the request for reasons stated in a motion.
Watts, yes for the reasons stated in motion. Mr. Sophia?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
Man, I got a tough time with this one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to vote yes for the reasons stated in the motion.
Okay, and Mr. Nestorovich?
Our vote yes, but I did not remember hearing you say what the reasons were in the motion. Did you actually say them, or?
I did not.
I said it wasn't a detriment.
Oh, not detriment,
Wasn't,
okay. I didn't, I wasn't sure, I didn't catch it. But yes, I vote yes, your request is approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay. This is item 12.
Item 12 is, property is 26262 Ryan. Representative is Reverend Lamb. Let's see here.
Hello.
Oh.
My name's Leo
Hey.
Montes. I'm the builder putting an addition on this.
Hang on 1 minute.
Okay.
Variance is requested is retain vehicular access to Eureka Drive. 2, waive the 6-foot wall and 8-foot greenbelt along the parking lot areas located to the north and south property lines abutting residential properties, and to waive modified screening. Number 3, allow 90-degree parking spots to be no less than 17.7 foot in length and 8.9 foot in width. And allow parallel parking spots to be no less than 7'6" wide, and a one-way parallel parking maneuvering lane no less than 10.2 feet wide.
Okay. So now if you could start with your name and address for the record, and then explain
Okay.
your request.
Leo Montes, I'm the builder. Address is 3100 Catalpa Court, Auburn Hills, Michigan. My addition was approved through planning, but these variances come up in order for me to get my building permit. So that's why I'm here, so I can get my building permit. So Reverend's not here, he's out of town, but the office manager's here if you have any questions on these variances.
Hi, my name is Ron Franklin. I represent Father Juan Lamb, who is unfortunately detained and could not be here. He sends his apologies and his regrets. What would you like to hear from me?
Whatever you'd want to explain
Well-
to the board about what the request and.
With the first item, the vehicular access to Eureka Drive, as you good folks are probably aware, the church property extends from Ryan Road, and then it abuts back to Eureka Road on the east side of the property. We have access on both the north and south side of the property on the west side of the street on Ryan Road, off of Ryan Road, and then we also have one ingress, egress off of Eureka Road coming in to the back side of the property from the east side. It had been suggested to us by the planning department that we close that off, and we have no objection to putting up a gate on that side that leads to Eureka Road. The exception that we would like to allow is to allow us to have access to the property, especially on weekends, when obviously we have liturgical sessions going on, and that's when the bulk of the people attending the parish will be there. We also think that it is, I think, wise to have access both on the Ryan Road side and the Eureka side, especially when we have large crowds, in case of emergency and just for general traffic flow. What our suggestion or our recommendation would be is to erect a gate that we will have closed during the weekdays, Monday through Friday, if you will, but allow us to have that access open for the weekend activities, because that's when the bulk of the people attend the parish functions. That was the first. The second, waiving the greenbelt walls on both the north and south side. On the north side of the property, our next door neighbor is St. Josaphat, and if you're familiar with that particular piece of property, it's fairly large, and there are no buildings or any parking that's even within, I'm gonna guess, 100 or 150 feet of where our fence line is. So there's no issue, I don't believe, on that side. And on the south side, there's an apartment complex, a fairly large one, but again, from the buildings, the parking lot to the fencing area, and then from the fence on the other side to those apartments is another good 50 or 60 feet. There doesn't seem to be an issue with the need for that higher fencing. We already have fencing there, and for the most part, on the south side, there's natural vegetation that grows along the fencing, you know, vines and what have you. And on the north side, St. Josaphat has a particular tree line that gives a natural border on that particular side. I can't really speak to the parking issue.
That's fine. Well, thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing any, I'll close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board for discussion and any questions. Personally, I mean, I'm very familiar with that because actually I go to St. Josaphat right next door. I'm very familiar with St. Cletus's, with that property. I mean, they've always had access onto Eureka Drive ever since I was a kid and stuff. That's always had a driveway there. And personally, I like the idea of a gate, because I know that even St. Louis by my house, where I currently live, they have a gate at the back that they just have unlocked on the weekends when they have services on Saturday and Sunday, but during the week, the gate is closed. And that stops people from cutting through their parking lot also to gain access to 12 Mile, or in this case, cutting through your parking lot trying to get to Ryan. Everything else I think is just good. I mean, it's cleaning up to get everything okay by zoning, but your property is large and I don't see any detriments or anything.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Watts?
I was by there on Monday, and I got a few questions.
Yes, sir.
I noticed on the back property behind, going towards Eureka, is that in the process of being cleaned up?
Yes.
Because I noticed there's pallets and there's,
Yes.
you know, there's all kinds of stuff back there.
If you've been on the property, obviously we have some construction that's in the process, and that will be cleaned up as the building process finishes up, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. And then the other problem I have, I looked at, the north side and the south side. It was more the north side. I see there was screening on the fencing and stuff, I think. I have a problem waiving the wall or a green belt. I
For
really do.
which side?
On the
Sure.
north side, it just seems to me, and I don't recall exactly what I was looking at. I don't recall what the south side looked like, but I'm not a fan of waiving that kind of stuff. I mean, we need to, if we're cleaning up the property, we need to do the right things and not waive stuff like that. That's the way I see it. But overall, I don't have a problem with your project, so. I'd just like to see the green belt or a wall, one of the two.
Yeah, the only comment that I would make is that it doesn't impede with anything as far as any neighbors are concerned. So I'm just wondering why that would be.
Well, I would assume you've been before planning for
Yes.
this project, and they're recommending it.
I don't know that they did or did not.
No, you're talking about the green fence on
The
residential house.
the green,
It's got the screen on it, on the fence?
yeah.
You want that removed?
I just don't, we don't allow that in neighborhoods. I don't see why we would allow it there. It deteriorates, it doesn't look good, you know, and I'd rather see
To be honest with you.
shrubbery or trees or,
If I could just maybe add a comment, you know, the parking at St. Cletus over there has been up to that property line as long as I can remember. Because, I mean, it's not something that's new because of the construction of the addition they want to do. And it's like, if you put in a wall or green belt, that would take away all their parking lot space. Which I know, I mean, it's, especially for somebody that's probably been like that since the 60s.
and I understand that, but times change and they're a new owner, they're making changes, and it's time to get it right.
The area you're talking about is toward the back of the property, correct? More going toward Eureka Road, correct?
Yeah, as you make the turn to go around the back of your building.
Gotcha, where it comes up to those garages.
Yep.
In the back. It's my understanding that we didn't put that up, the neighbors did. There's a couple of, maybe a yard and a half that we can see the neighbors' backyards. And I think the neighbors put those up, we didn't. I know that for a fact.
Mr. Chair?
Okay.
Are you done here?
Yes, Mr. Green?
I think the point is, aesthetically, it doesn't look very good. This is not the question, I'm just saying, because I went there, it either have a fence there, or and make it look like all one fence. You got 4 or 5 sections with this cloth on it. It doesn't look good. And to be honest with you, the back of the building around your shed doesn't look very good either.
We understand that.
Not a question.
That is, with your indulgence,
I'm not asking a question.
That's a work in progress.
I'm not asking a question, I'm making a statement.
I understand.
Apparently not.
Pardon me?
Apparently not, because I'm trying to finish. So if you look at the shed, to be honest with you, whether there's construction or not, it doesn't look very good. It looks not very well kept. So that was my only problem with the property when I drove through. So I'm in favor of your variances, but, I mean, it just doesn't look well kept around the shed at all, whether there's construction or not. And I just think from an aesthetic standpoint, whether we put a fence in or not, if you have 4 or 5 sections with cloth on it, and then a couple, the rest of the sections with just a fence, I think it would look better if you just took the cloth down and, made it all up one piece. That's me, because I'm very, very, very picky about that. But that's my comment, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Clift.
if nobody else has any other comments, I'll make a motion on this item. To grant permission to the petitioner to, number 1, retain vehicular access to Eureka Drive. Number 2, waive the 6-foot wall and 8-foot green belt along the parking lot areas located at the north and south property lines abutting residential uses, and to waive modified screening. Pardon me. Number 3, allow 90-degree parking spots to be no less than 17.7 feet in length and 8.9 feet in width. And number 4, allow parallel parking spots to be no less than 7.6 feet wide and a one-way parallel parking maneuvering lane to be no less than 10.2 feet wide due to the size and shape of the lot and that it's not a detriment to the area.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Clift, support by Mr. Lindsay to approve the request for the reasons stated.
Mr. Clift? Mr. Clift?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Sesser?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
No, needs a 6-foot or an 8-foot green belt along the north line.
Watts? No, it needs the green belt cleaned up. And Mr. Nestorovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion. Your request has passed.
Ma'am, gentlemen, thank you.
This is item number 13.
Okay, item number 13, K&S Investment, Representative Karen Birdie, address 11430 Cults. Variance requested, permission to retain a 14.8-foot maneuvering lane along the east property line. I also have an impact statement. After review of the request, no issues.
Read that during the public.
After that, okay.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I thought you were gonna read an impact
I'm
statement.
gonna wait.
Okay, Karen Birdie on behalf of K&S Investment Company LLC. My address is 28225 Mound Road, Warren, Michigan, 48092. I am here tonight for K&S Property. They're located between 9 and 10 Mile, Hoover and Van Dyke on Cults Road. I highlighted this to make it easier for everyone to understand, including myself. This is a property line that ran here. This building was built in the 1950s. That's 75 years ago, and it's before the city was a city in 1957, and it's before we had zoning ordinances in 1960. Looking at the site plan, the building takes up all of its property. It has its parking across the street. This plan that's here is an approved plan. So back in the basically in 1998, the owner of K&S bought this back portion of the lot next to him. The idea is that the trucks that have to deliver to this building drive down this driveway, come back here, do a turnaround, pull out, back up, and deliver their goods. This was approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals in 1998. They also waived the hard surfacing of it and allowing it to be gravel. So this site plan that's in front of you has been approved and has variances. Back in the day, the two owners of these two properties got along well. Things moved along quite well. However, fast forward to today, and unfortunately, the owner of K&S has passed away. His wife, who's also an owner, doesn't feel that she can continue on the business, and this property's for sale. The good news is Iroquois Industry wants to buy this property, which I think is fantastic because they're not replacing a building they have in the city, they're buying another one. So they'll have another place here in the city with us. I like that we can keep them here in Warren. So fast forwarding to today, the situation was this driveway, if you will, is 14.8 feet. The width of a tractor trailer is 8.5 feet. The width of a lane on a US highway is 12 feet. So we're bigger than that. What's happening is, we thought the best way to handle this situation where this lane, because what's gonna happen is Iroquois Industries is gonna come in with a site plan, right? They're gonna come in with a site plan, and we've got a building that takes up all the property, and we've got an approval of a turnaround lane for trucks back here, and come out and load there. But when they go to get this approved, they're gonna have a problem because 14.8 is not normally the size we like to see on driveways. So we approached the neighbor, Mr. Sadir, and we asked, because he's got 20.2 feet, and we've got 14.8, and if you go out there, everybody just pretty much, he drives down our drive, we drive, it's shared already. So what we did is we proposed, upon recommendation by the planning department, a shared access agreement. It was drafted and presented to Mr. Sadir. Mr. Sadir indicated he will not sign that, even though he does want to continue to share the access. So we asked for help from the planning department. We said, let's have a meeting. Let's everybody meet and hash it out and figure out what the problem is and see if we can solve it. So the planning department and different people from different departments all had a meeting and discussed this, and Mr. Sadir was at the meeting, and we asked if we could do a shared access. That would give Mr. Sadir rights to that driveway, and it would give us rights to the driveway. I'm sorry. Everybody wins. Mr. Sadir indicated emphatically he will sign nothing. He will not sign any agreement to a shared access. So at this point, in asking Mr. Sadir why, he indicated that this back portion that was sold in 1998 to K&S Industries and is approved for a tractor trailer turnaround, he'd like that property. We can't give up that property. We can't possibly give up that property, because then how would we get goods into the building and make the building useful? So we were told by the planning department that we should come and ask for a variance. Since this building was built, tractor trailers have successfully driven down the 14.8 foot access, come in the back here, turned around, pulled up, backed up, and dropped off their goods, then pulled out. We're asking that you approve this access of 14.8 feet. I'd like to point out that our ordinance says that you need 20 feet for two-way maneuvering, two-way. So technically, ours is a one-way. So basically, half of 20 feet's 10, and we're 14.8. So I'm asking for approval of this access drive so that this building continues to be viable and so that Iroquois Industries can purchase it and have another location here in our city. I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Okay. If you can approach the podium and start with your name and address.
My name is Sadir Zaya. My address is 2058 Jeffrey Drive, Troy, Michigan. I'm the owner of Unique Automotive, address 11432 Gulch Avenue. I've been on this business for about almost 14 years. The problem is with the situation. Since I bought this building, the owner of the next door neighbor that deceased, we were having problems in the beginning. Me and him, we came up to an agreement. It was a handshake, man-to-man agreement. Our agreement was, as long as he's alive, as long as I'm alive, we get to share the driveways. The problem is, they still have machines inside that building. Big trucks gotta come in there to get those machines out. The reason why I'm parking on the side of my building and I'm using their driveway, I'm giving them about 7 to 10 feet, somewhere between 5 to 10 feet from my back parking lot to allow these trucks to go back there. If I park my vehicles on the property line, that property in the back, there's no way a semi-truck can go back there and turn around and come out of there. The distance between the building and the property line is about 75 to 80 feet. Tractor trailer with that trailer, everything, you're looking about 70 feet, 75 feet. How is he gonna go in there and turn if I have vehicles right on the property line? Or if I put a fence, which is, the fence has already been approved by the city. My problem is, this is what's gonna happen. If I put a fence, every time a semi-truck gotta pull in there to make a turnaround, they're gonna hit my fence. If I park cars there, they're gonna get hit. That's the only problem I have. And as far as the easement, I told them I don't wanna sign an easement. If you want me to sign an easement, there's a fee for it. Why? It's gonna depreciate my value of my property. They offered nothing. So that's where we stand at.
Okay, thank you for those comments.
Thank you.
Not seeing any others, I'll close the public portion. There's an impact statement, Mr. Rotz, to read in.
After a review of the request, no issues were found to impact the budding local or general public. On October 6, 2025, through the Macomb County land file, the petitioner completed a lot split and combination, splitting the south 175-foot of the west 80-foot of Lot 5 of 11432 Cults Avenue and combining it with Lot 4 of 11430 Cults, creating a new L-shaped parcel for 11430 Cults. The new parcel number for the combined is 13-27-276-07 and part of -08 is 12-13-27-276-037.
May I comment on something?
Actually, if there's any questions from the board, then you have an opportunity to respond to a question, but not a comment right now. So it's over to the board for any questions and discussion. Mr. Safai?
Mr. Chairman, looking at this, my initial thought is it's been this way for a significant amount of time. I don't have a problem with allowing them to continue access to that easement there. I mean, I don't blame the neighbor for not wanting to sign the agreement. I wouldn't want to sign it either. I'd say, wait a minute, I have 20 feet and you have 14 feet and we're gonna share it. I wouldn't like that as a neighbor either. But I think parcel A on this site plan is still entitled to their 14.8 feet. They've had it for years. They should continue access to it. Now that's up to them. If they're having trucks and trailers pull into the back there, they have to be able to turn around on their property. You know, it doesn't give them the right to go onto the neighbor's property. And I understand the neighbor's concerned about putting a fence up and damage that might cause to it, but you know, that's something that they're gonna have to work out. But I don't have a problem with keeping the maneuvering lane as is, just with the understanding that, you know, there's a property line back there for the neighbor.
Thank you, Mr. Safai.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Lindsay.
I have a quick question for you, Ms. Birdie. Just correct me if I misunderstood you. I apologize if I did. But to clarify, are you asking for this variance because you're looking to sell the property? Did I hear you correctly?
We're under contract to
Okay.
sell the property right now with Iroquois Industries.
Okay.
The intent was always to have shared access. They had done it with a handshake even before Mr., I didn't know, I thought his last name was Sadir, Mr. Zio. For years and years and years, they had shared this. We can function with our own 14.8. And we're not asking him to move cars, we're not asking him, he can park on his own property where he wants to park on his property. We can function with the 14.8. So the idea is, now that the property's being sold, Iroquois Industries is obviously going to submit a site plan to the city, new owner, et cetera, new business, and this is one of the items that needs to be cleaned up to have the sale finished.
Okay, that answers my question, thank you. So for the board, I really don't see an issue, to Mr. Safaya's point. This has been like this all the time. My concern is I don't want to get in a position where we are approving a variance in order for a sale to go through. That's an economic reason for the variance to be granted. I would like to see a new owner purchase the property and they can come to us with whatever variance per their site plan they need, and I'd feel more comfortable on voting on that. So for that reason, I don't plan on voting yes on this. I just see it as a personal and financial reason to ask for this variance. I'm not comfortable with that. And then just to clarify, I did hear the petitioner say that technically this is a one-way. This is a two-way. You have a truck coming in and out of the same line. That's a two-way. It's just not big enough for two ways. So those are my thoughts. So thank you.
And if I could just add a comment, it's like, see, I see this as the kind of issue that our city creates future problems when a building like that, I'm assuming probably at some time this might have all been part of one parcel or something, where to have a building built where there is like no room, I mean, that property has no room from that. That's what we're dealing with, is what was created many years in the past, and unfortunately, it's like this is how it's been working now. So I mean, that's why I would actually, because it's not making any changes. They're not. It's basically to be able to still use that property the way they have been. So I see no problems with this.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Watts.
So to Ms. Birdie, if he becomes this neighbor that he sounds like he's going to become and puts a fence up, can we still turn the truck around back there?
Yes.
Do you know that for sure?
Yes. We've been doing it for 75 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
And where I retired from, the guys turned trucks around in very small spots, so.
Yes.
And they could always back all the way out down there too.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
You know, a good driver could.
Yes.
And I feel bad for anybody that has to share access with somebody like that. That just blows my mind. Okay, I see what you're doing, and I think it's a good idea, since there's no cooperation. I like that other one. I thought a shared agreement would be the great thing in the world, but some people don't like to play fair, so, thank you. Nobody else has anything, I'll make a motion
Okay.
to retain a 14.8-foot maneuvering lane along the east property line, as I don't see that it's a detriment. I think it'll all work out just fine.
Support.
So we have a motion by Mr. Watts, support by Mr. Assessor, to approve the request for a reason stated.
Watts, yes for the reason stated in the motion. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
No, it's economic.
And Mr. Nestorovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion. Your request has been approved.
Thank you.
This is item number 14.
Okay. Item number 14 is Center for Dawa and Research. Representative Karen Birdie, 5491 12 Mile Road. Variance is requested. Waive both the 8-foot wide greenbelt and 6-foot high concrete wall that is required along the north property line, and 2, to construct a building addition to the east property line.
Good evening again. Karen Birdie on behalf of, hold on, let me turn the page here. The Center for Dawa and Research. My address is 28225 Mound Road, Warren, Michigan, 48092. With me tonight is Mr. Mohammed Sadiqu. He's here with me this evening. So with regard to this plan, this is on 12 Mile, just west of Mound. I don't know if you remember, this building used to be like auto repair and different things along those lines. It went through a lot of different owners. Back up here is, if you will, the Partridge Creek, where they have the assisted living, nursing home, and all the different condos that the green backs up to here. So the first request that we're asking is he's asking for a building addition. I have put the addition in yellow. This part right here is what already exists. And they're asking to expand, but the reason that we have to come here today, this plan has been approved by the Planning Department and by the Planning Commission. The reason that we have to come here is because you can see that it's built on the property line, on the east property line. We'd like to continue that same property line so that the building, in fact, has continuity. It would be kind of strange to bend it in and build it like that, and then you've got this piece of property over here that what it's used for, nobody knows. So they're not expanding, if you will, the prayer area of the mosque. So the area that's here right now is going to be their offices. The second floor of this area is going to be the research, which is the library of the different types of books with regard to the religion. And then the bottom floor is going to be the mosque. So this is the driveway over here. This is currently the parking. They're adding this parking on. And you can see that they're proposing to plant these trees along the side and the back. I put on your table a picture, and I labeled it in the upper right-hand corner in red pen, item 14. If you could please look at that picture, because we're asking to waive the wall and the green belt. We're not saying we're not going to put any green. Our plan shows green, but green belt has a very specific definition. It has to do with heights, it has to do with width, it has to do with what's being planted. If you can see on that photo that I provided, the red pin is obviously our property, and all of this is the green space with Partridge Creek. As you know, sitting on the Zoning Board of Appeals, when you have multiple housing or a PUD, if it's a PUD or multiple housing, there's a certain percentage of the property that has to be dedicated to green space. And that's what this is. It's already green space. So it would seem kind of silly to do a green belt next to all of this green space. And the idea of the wall and the green belt is to protect from one zone to another. The idea behind it is if you have a zoning use that is more intense than the use next to it, you would use a wall or a green belt to assist. In this case, we already have a huge green belt. So, and we're not stating that we're not willing to put in, if you will, trees, etc., but we don't want to lose these parking spots, if you will, to where now we're down more parking spots and we're providing green space against green space. And I really don't think a wall, that'd be a travesty. When you look there, I drove back there, when you look there, it's all green and beautiful. I don't think you'd want to put a wall in front of it. But that's why we're asking to waive the green belt and the wall. Now, I did drive back there, and there's an area there that's gravel that I'm sure you saw if you drove back there. That's all going to be paved and striped and made part of the parking lot. So if there are any questions, I'll be available to answer them.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Lindsay?
I have a question for you, Ms. Birdie.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I'm sorry. This
please
is a
do.
public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing any, or close that, but we have an impact statement to read in, then I'll get to you, Mr.
That's fine.
Lindsay.
Okay. After reviewing the request, the following issues were found to impact the abutting local or general public. One, the planning staff has observed on numerous Fridays, which is a primary day of worship, the following issues. A, extreme disruption of traffic flow on 12 Mile before and after worship service. The result is an unsafe scenario for the worshipers. Entering the site from the westbound right lane backs up at least 5 vehicles at the maximum, and worshipers using the eastbound left or center turn lane backs up 5 or more vehicles. B, worshipers attempting to leave the facility are mostly forced to exit westbound on 12 Mile. Congestion at the driveway roadway intersection at times is at its maximum. Designated worshipers locate themselves in the driveway and 12 Mile Road to the direct traffic. These people at a minimum should be provided with orange vests. It says Warren police officer should be directing traffic. D, the worship times on Fridays shall be separated by at least 1/2 hour to allow the safe entry and exit to the site of the worshipers and noted on the site plan. 2, the petitioner received site plan approval with conditions for a religious center building addition to add a second story on June 2nd, 2025. And that's the end of the impact statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Watts. So, Mr. Lindsay, you had a question?
Yes, to Ms. Birdie. I'm sure it's in the information here, but if you could just clarify for me quickly, how big is the building right now?
So the building right now
Just square footage, I guess.
is 2,720 square feet.
And that's with the newly added second story, or that's to come?
No, that's the existing building now. That's all gonna be, offices and meeting rooms. And the addition is 2,400 square feet footprint.
Okay, so we want to double the size of the building.
Yes. Yep.
2,400 square feet.
Yes,
And upstairs.
but we're not expanding the worship area. The worship area is just being moved. So the first floor here is all offices. The second floor here is the library, the research of the religious books. And the first floor is the mosque, the worship area. He's already agreed at the planning department. This driveway is actually being moved farther away from the building. They are not allowing people to drop people off at the building as they drive by to park. They're already agreeing to wear the orange vests. They already agreed to the half-hour time period in between, and we are
So,
adding.
Thank you for the square
31
footage question.
spaces.
The orange vest has nothing to do with my question. I guess for the board, I wish that the variance was a little bit more clear on item number 2. It just says construct a building addition. to the east property line. It sounds like we're seeking to double the footprint of the building. So we've seen pretty recently some of these mosques come before us, and it's clear that they're causing a problem in the city. So when I look at this, you know, I think there's a detriment. I do think that this item's self-imposed. Once again, we've seen an issue where, you know, the owner of the buildings purchased a building, and then we're trying to make all kinds of changes to the building to meet our needs. I think we should be buying buildings that suit our needs, the way that they're constructed. So I see this as being self-imposed. I don't see this being something where they can't enjoy the property the way it's at. Sounds like it's already operating as a mosque. The property's not unique. They purchased it knowing the size and shape of the lot. It would seem to be an economic thing to increase the size. I'm assuming it's going to add additional community members. So I don't see it as being necessary either. So when we look at the definition of needing to approve a variance, we have to be meeting all of these criteria. I don't see that we're meeting any of these on this petition. So I don't see how we could actually be voting yes for this.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Green, you have the floor.
did someone have it before?
No, you have the floor, Mr. Green.
Thank you. I thought you wanted to say something, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
That's fine.
So, a couple things. So it's not a magic trick, I have this written down before Mr. Lindsay spoke. But this issue of, and we've heard this multiple times, this issue of lay people, citizens directing traffic is a major accident waiting to happen. Because they're not trained to direct traffic. And there is training involved in directing traffic, so that's not the answer to the traffic problem. And the traffic problem is a problem there, because I witnessed it. It's blocking the road off and letting everybody out at the worship center before anybody else can move. And it's a problem, and it's because the people aren't trained, you know, to direct traffic. And as far as the variance itself, there's the practical difficulty threshold isn't being met here. It's as Mr. Lindsay already stated, it's self-imposed. It's an overbuild. When you overbuild these buildings and you add to the number of people there, regardless of the fact that it's a library, quote unquote a library, you add a number of people, and you're going to expand your parking lot, I'm assuming for more people, not just for a few people going to the library. So it's an overbuild, if anything. It'll create an unreasonable impact on the community. It already has as far as the traffic goes. The property itself is not unique, so the build doesn't meet that criteria. It's not necessary, and it's definitely for economic advancement, however you want to define economic advancement. So this particular request for variance doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't meet any of the practical difficulty standards or thresholds that it needs to meet. So I'm going to agree with Mr. Lindsay on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green. I don't know, did Mr. Green have a question for Mr.? Well, I actually have a question for Steve first. Because I actually agree with my two colleagues that, you know, I think our city a lot of times we're overbuilding on the sites where the site is only so large, can handle so much, and we're building too much. But my question for you, Steve, because with the comments regarding like the green belt and stuff like that, that property back there, I know you get to it via that Panama Street. There is that one house that's off of that street, but that big green piece of property, what is that zoned, or, because I know there's I don't hear you very well.
Let's see if it changes.
Here, try now.
There you go.
Sorry.
That property is zoned PUD. It's part of the Heritage PUD. It is a residential portion of it, if my memory is correct. I did look it up probably 2 months ago. When I think I was in a meeting early on this, and went from there. Just to correct one thing, the total square foot now is 2,720 square feet, and the proposed new building and old will be 8,520 square feet.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, Mr. Watts?
So, I agree with my colleagues. Once again, we just went through this with 2 other ones, that they bought a very small building, and then they want to build more. And the one that we had, I went there to observe the parking problems and the traffic problems, which enticed me to spend the rest of my Fridays after that going around to all the other ones and looking at what's going on at Call to Prayer Time. Because I had a complaint when I was on council about another place. So I've been taking these in on Fridays, checking it out. And then when we got this impact statement, I was like, wow, this is crazy. I mean, they're calling for the police to go there. It's not the police's job to handle that by any means. And if there's that much traffic coming in and out of there, and they want to add, they almost want to triple the square footage. Now, I understand what you're saying, that part of it's gonna, the one part's still gonna be the same prayer, but there's no guarantee that that's gonna happen. And, you know, I see this as being said that it's a research center. I don't see anything on here that says it's a mosque, or that there's call to prayer, which concerns me. And to want to try to add this much in and see the traffic problem, this is definitely a detriment to the area. They need a larger piece of property with better ingress and egress to handle the traffic. I just can't get behind this at all.
When I attend Mass on Sunday, we cause a traffic problem when we all get out of church at the same time and we all leave the parking lot at the same time. And we all make a long line and go in and out. We're all coming at the same time for Mass to start. This is no different than that. We're not here for a parking variance. No parking variance is asked for. We have enough parking. The people who are directing traffic are a security company that they hire because they don't want people stopping when they pull in to let people off into the building. So what they've done is they've hired a security company. They should be trained in doing that, and they control the traffic. No one's going out on 12 Mile. I want to be clear with you. Nobody's stopping any traffic on 12 Mile or doing anything like that. It's when they come in there, we keep them moving to the parking spaces so that we're not holding up traffic there. The only issue before this board tonight is not whether or not this should be expanded, but whether or not the east property line is allowed to be where it already is on the original building. This has already been approved by the Planning Commission for its size. That's already been approved. What's before the board here tonight is not whether or not to expand, it's whether or not the expansion can maintain the east property line.
Mr. Chair?
Okay,
After Mr. Watts.
Hang on a minute. All right, I understand what you're saying about the traffic, but when I look at all the churches that have a lot of traffic, they're large parking lots. They have area to stack that traffic going out onto 12 Mile, 11 Mile, 9 Mile, whatever they are. They're not creating situations like this.
This lot is so deep. It is, I put it in my paperwork somewhere. This lot is huge from a depth standpoint. They can stack like this and go out.
Mr. Chair?
So,
Is Mr. Watts done?
I understand what you're saying, but That's not what I've observed. I've observed those parking lots being so full, there's no place to stack cars coming out. That's what I've observed. I haven't been to this one directly, because I didn't know it existed. But, again, it's a small building, yes, it's a larger piece of property, I understand. But they're gonna enlarge it, and it's gonna create more of a traffic flow problem. And I don't think that it's the right area for it. It doesn't seem right to me. It's gonna be a detriment to the area. We got an impact statement here that states that, and I don't know, like my colleague here said, it's a bad accident waiting to happen. And we don't need any more bad accidents in town. So that's my comments.
Mr. Green, you had a
Mr. Chair,
comment?
Just to clear this up. The variances that are requested are a green belt and the construction of a building, regardless of the fact that it came from planning. It doesn't matter if it came from planning or where it came from. The variance that's being requested is to put an additional building on the property. And that's what we're dealing with right now. And it doesn't meet, in my opinion, the threshold. It's an overbuild. And I'm a little concerned that we just, within the last 5 minutes, got two different numbers. At first it was 2,000 square feet, now it's up to 8,000 square feet for a library. So that's a concern of mine even more now. But to clarify it, we're not here just for a green belt. We're here for the variance request to construct a building on the east property line. And what I'm hearing is board members saying it's an overbuild and it doesn't meet the criteria, regardless of the traffic and stuff like that. So just to clarify that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Any other comments or
Mr. Chair,
questions?
if there's no other
Mr.
comments,
Lindsay?
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Well,
Chairman?
let's first- Are there other comments?
I do just have one
Yes,
quick comment.
Mr. Stefan?
Ms. Birdie, you heard the comments tonight. What is the alternative? I mean, I know you're here before us for the construction along the east property line. What does the ordinance allow you to build without a variance along that east wall? How far would the addition have to
The
come in?
setback?
Yeah.
The setback would have to be, how many feet is it?
Isn't
From
it
the-
20 feet for a side yard?
Hold on, it's right here. 20 feet. 20 feet. So technically, they could take 20 feet off from the east property line. Here's what we can do. Right here, take 20 feet off, and we're able to do it. And this will be just open space. So we can do that. It just doesn't make sense to have this open like that. But that may be what they have to do, if that's what the board would like. I don't think that's a good plan, though.
I'm gonna say that that's what the setback is, but that would be a non-conforming and it'd be an expansion, so it'd still need a variance to build anything further than what they have right now.
Thank you. That was my only comment.
Mr. Chair, I think we've heard the board's comments, so unless there's other comments, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to deny permission to, one, waive both the 8-foot wide green belt and 6-foot high concrete wall that is required along the north property line, and number 2, construct a building addition to the east property line due to the fact that strict compliance would not create an unreasonable burden. This is self-imposed. The property is not unique. It is a detriment. It seems to be personal or economic, and it's not necessary.
Support.
So we have a motion by Mr. Lindsay and support by Mr. Assessor to deny the petitioner's request for the reasons that he stated. So a yes vote is a yes vote to deny. Okay, roll call.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Safaya?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Watts, yes to deny for reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Nestorovich?
I will also vote yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion. Unfortunately, your request was denied tonight.
Thank you.
I would like to make a correction. They did have a variance to have the religious center at less than 20 feet before.
Okay, so
that would
now
exist.
that's very different information, because now we go back to the situation where if they take 20 feet off, they can build this, because they don't need to get an approval for a non-conforming expansion. So I don't know if that changes anybody's votes, because I wouldn't vote for,
Well, unfortunately, on this item, we've already voted on it, and
So let's move on.
so unfortunately, we can't.
okay.
Okay. Takes us to
New business.
new business. Does anybody have new business for tonight?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I do.
Yes, Mr. Green.
So as we do these discussions and talk, it was interesting because me and Gary were driving around, and some of the comments were made about, oh, it's a, you know, it's a collision shop and this is the way they look and stuff like that. I went to one the other day called Pole Position on Bunnert. You could eat off the floor. And their cars are lined up, organized, there's not a tow truck in sight, there's no oil on the ground. And I just thought about it when some of the discussions we had, that it can be done, and they do it. And then as I was driving down 12 Mile between Hoover and Shaner, there was a dentist office, it's Elaine Folby's office, and the landscaping is meticulous, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. So I just laugh at myself when I think, oh, this can't be done, because it can be done. So with that said, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green. There's no other new business. Motion to adjourn?
I got something, Mr.
Oh,
Chairman.
yes, Mr. Clift.
We won't be getting together beforehand, so I just want to wish all my fellow board members a good Thanksgiving holiday, and be safe in your travels, and we look forward to seeing you all in December.
Thank you.
Thank you for those wishes, Mr. Clift.
Motion to adjourn. Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 9:38.